going on, everybody? What's going on? I'm gonna try to get this charger set up on my phone. What's up? What's up? Now I'm gonna try to get my computer and see if I can adjust the lights, so bear with me for a second, please. We got some free moments here. The wife and I just went to Texas Roadhouse. I had a wonderful filet with some shrimp. She had a nice steak. And her and the kids are not home at the moment. So she said, you have some free time. Do with it as you please. I said, okay. Well, we're gonna play around on YouTube. What's up, Scotty? Where are you from in Tennessee? What's up, Nick? What's up, Lisa? Pretty boring, had tacos. What's up? The Reefing Rican. Hey, nothing wrong with tacos. Nothing wrong. Let's turn this on. I wonder if I can get to, because I know I missed some comments. Sorry, folks, I'm staring at my laptop right now. And I was going to try to get to, I'm using the new studio, and I need some coral out in my tank. I'm using the new studio, YouTube studio, and I'm trying to figure out how to get to the chat. If there is a way that I can get to the chat. I'm trying to just go ahead and jump on board with the new YouTube studio because I know it's coming anyway. What's up, West Coast Reefer? So, I haven't quite figured it out all yet. The one thing that I don't like about the new YouTube studio is you can't copy tags. So if you have tags set up from previous videos, you can't copy them. All right, I just loaded my video. So what's up, Lisa? What's up, your fellow Reefer? Reefer, Travis, Joey, Philip, Scotty, Nick, West Tennessee, West Coast Reefer. Lost an outlet on my 2-year-old Apex energy bar. $75 to fix it. Man. It sucks too because you could have got a used one for about $115. I know used is, it's probably not as good as the one you have now, but what's the tank game plan, Pelfrey? So, what's up, Reefing with O? I did get some chlorine test strips. Been talking to quite a few people. One of them is Pat Murphy with Murphy's Aquatics. We're just throwing ideas around, trying to figure out what's going on. So I bought some chlorine test strips. Tested my tap water. Obviously, it's got chlorine in it. All tap water does. Then I tested my roadie water. No tap water. Excuse me, no chlorine. I don't know if this is the best view or not. Sorry, folks. So I ordered all new filters for the Spectra Pure roadie that I have. So I ordered the new sediment, carbon, DI. I know you're supposed to replace the majority of those three, at least the carbon and the sediment, every 6 months or so to prolong the life of the membrane. But I haven't done that. And I make 80 gallons at a time. That 80 gallons usually lasts me a couple months. So anyway, I ordered a new membrane as well because my roadie unit's like 2 years old now. Also, they're supposed to be sending me some hardness, the water hardness test strip so that I can make sure that I'm running the correct flow restrictor. Beyond that, kind of just keeping my hands out of the tank. As far as the ICP test is concerned, I have not. Well, I haven't done one recently. I've done the Triton test and I've done the ATI test. And I know that you can do the ICP analysis or whatever, but from what I understand, the ICP analysis doesn't give as much information as either the Triton or the ATI test kit. So, I don't know. I mean, every test I've done, every test, the one Triton and the one ATI test that I've done, came back good. I mean, I'm probably going to hold off on putting the new filters in the RODI unit because, I mean, it's 0 TDS even with the handheld. Yeah, I know they test the Rody unit or the Rody water. I had them do that before and it came back good. Murphy's Aquatics sent me yesterday his Apogee par meter. That should be here tomorrow. He's not very far from me, like 3.5, 4 hours. So it's gonna be here tomorrow. I'm gonna test out the lighting. I'm pretty much followed Amarazul TV's Radeon schedule, except for my intensity is not up nearly as high as his because obviously he needs the intensity with the corals that he has in the tank. So I'm gonna check the par. I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing as far as water changes. Last week, whenever I checked my phosphates, they were 119 on the phosphorus checker. So, you know, I haven't done anything to remedy that except for a 8 or 9 gallon water change last weekend. I'm gonna do another one this weekend. Vortex on the back of the wall, any good? Everything in my tank right now seems to enjoy it. Those are just MP10s. So, I have no complaints. It's time for them to come out. They're covered in purple and they haven't been in the tank very long, so they need to be cleaned. Everything, I mean, it works out for me. And I really needed something I could put on the back wall because the kids were reaching up and grabbing the dry side on the pumps on the side of the tank. So it works out well for me. Yours tested high silicates, even tested 0 TDS. I mean, the silicates could be an issue. You know, you never know. What's up, Chimp the Reefer? Just got a snowflake eel for my RedSea Reefer 525. Nice. I don't like snakes, so eels kind of, I'm 50-50 on them. Somebody did ask in a comment on the last live stream I did what screen top I have on this tank, and it's simply a screen top kit for like a window, and I just cut it. I thought that was part of my issue before. Maybe whatever material it's made out of, aluminum or whatever, was leaching in the water. It's not the case. So Coral Beauty not much munching, not to my knowledge. The Coral Beauty's a pretty good citizen in this tank. What's up, Tina? How's it going? So, I know I mentioned this previously. May, well, there's no May to it. I just have to figure out a time that's going to work for the both of us. What's up, T? I'm going to head up north a little bit. What's up, Chad? Go visit Murphy and let him give me some holy water and get this thing figured out. King of the North. Pat Murphy's doing something right. I'm not. My glass is dirty. So. Any tips from stability? Somebody in the chat will have to answer stability questions because I don't know. I mean, I would venture to say that any SPS issues I've had have been probably self-inflicted, but I don't know. How much does your alkalinity swing, or is it pretty consistent? It's actually very consistent. It stays like 8.1, somewhere in that range. So, yeah. it's not an alkalinity issue. And of course the salt that I use to change my water is the blue bucket, so the parameters are pretty close to where my tank is. I have Apex Fusion pulled up so I can read you the last test results, which I tested alkalinity yesterday. It was 8. I tested calcium on the, well, this is wrong. I didn't put the last checkpoint in here, but the last time I checked calcium, it was like 380. The last time I checked magnesium, it was like 1330. And then of course, my nitrates were about 4. The phosphates were through the roof at 0.36 because I didn't measure out reeferoids. And my salinity was 1.025. So going to wrap in Chicago this year? Probably not. I'd like to, but, and it's like a 6-hour drive and an even shorter flight, but I just don't think it's gonna happen this year. We've got a couple vacations scheduled to go down south to the ocean. So I doubt that I take any time. And it seems like all of the shows that I can go to fall around what we call maintenance weekends at work, where we're patching servers. So, you know, it is what it is. Dosing 150 milliliters. What are you dosing? Everything will work out, T. Everything will. Everything will. It just takes time and a little patience. So, Tina says, I'm having a hard time being patient with this algae. It'll go away. An algae scrubber, hate this stuff. Yeah, algae scrubbers, they work. Reef Keeper's got a Rain 2 on his tank. 915 main, I believe is running a Rain 4. I ran a Rain 2 on this tank for a long time, and of course it kept my nutrients down, and that thing grew algae like no other. I don't know. I'm lucky. I mean, I'm running a skimmer only, and I have no algae. There's some bubble algae, but the emerald crabs that I got from Reef Cleaner took care of that. So, Wisconsin, where are you from? Hey, if you're in Wisconsin, check out battle corals. I'm from Kentucky, by the way. Matter of fact, Chad's pretty close to me. Have you ever tried a magnet in your sand to see if any metal objects have fallen into your tank from broken equipment or anything else? I mean, the only thing that I had in the tank were the gyre pumps, so I don't know. What area of Kentucky? Chad and I are in Western Kentucky. Yeah, battle corals? I think battle corals is in Wisconsin. He's a website. He's a website. It's a company. Adam runs the website. He's active on Reef to Reef. Tina, there's a lot of people claim, I'm not a DIY person, I can't build things, but there's a lot of videos and tutorials on DIY algae scrubbers and a little bit of PVC, some of that knitting screen. You should be good to go. Yeah, I have the Tunze ATO, the bigger one, the 3152, I think it is. And well, that does have the magnet in the water, and that magnet's just fine because whenever I set up my new sump, I took all the sensors off of it and cleaned it. I mean, I had the sensors in my tank for over like 2 years and never cleaned it, and that ATO was spot on. I'm surprised with as much crap that it had built up on it. As a matter of fact, I hear a vibration right now and it's driving me wild, and I'm pretty sure that it's coming from the top, the lid on the Nios 120 skimmer. How do you like having the power heads on the back wall versus having one on each side? I mean, I like it and it's working out for me now. Obviously, as corals get, if I can grow corals in this tank, the corals that I want, then, you know, I may have to rethink my situation here. But I was running the gyre pumps on here. And the good thing about the gyre pumps is you can keep them at the top of the water. But if you can see over here on, if I can get my finger in the frame here, there's a toy box here. And my kids stand up on it and they were pulling the magnets down. So I wanted something that I could control with the WXM. So I sold the 230s, put MP10s in here, put them on the back wall so the kids can no longer grab them. The same noise problem with the lid on my Vertex 180 skimmer. Yeah, the lid on that Nile skimmer does that from time to time, and the lid probably, the cup needs to come out. I probably need to clean it to begin with. Really jealous of Reef Girl's Deltec skimmer because it has it's a manual neck cleaner, and obviously for a skimmer to perform optimal, the neck needs to be pretty clean. So yeah, I've seen the airline, and there's actually some notches in the top of my skimmer top where I could put some O-rings in there so that they could set on those. But it'll take 2 seconds to open up the cabinet and resituate it, and that vibration will go away. But if that vibration wasn't there, the system would make no noise, none. And it's dead silent in this house right now, which doesn't bother me because it's never this quiet. You know, there's always noise and TV and whatever going on, so. But I did, speaking about, you know, ICP test kits, I looked at some. If I do any, it'll probably be the ATI again, just because I don't feel like it took them as long to get the test back. So, and they give you the shipping label, and that really aggravated me about the Triton test kit, is it didn't come with the shipping label. I know it seems so dumb, but what's up, Davis? But if I don't have a shipping label for it, that means I got to make a special trip to the post office. So it's just one more thing to do. Appreciate that, Justin. Hope you get your calcium reactor figured out. Calcium reactors are the thing nowadays, and I don't blame people for that. You know, I'm definitely not there yet, and you know, it'll be a long time before I get there. But if I had to look at a calcium reactor, me personally, with like 55-ish gallons maybe, I would probably just look at the Aquamax. They make a nanotech. It's like up to 75 gallons. I'd probably just look at that one. So my drip line is entering to my refugium, and I think the refugium light is causing access. I'm assuming it's access algae to grow inside the drip line, slowing down the flow from the calcium reactor. Yep, that will do it. Clog up the line real quick. What size Nios? I'm running the 120. I've ran the 120 on this tank since it's been running. I guess it's been running for maybe 2.5 years now. It was a toss-up between Deltec and the Nios. I found the Nios on eBay. I messaged the guy on eBay, asked him if we would take X amount of dollars if he took the auction offline. He messaged me back, so I bought it from him. I mean, I'm happy with it. It's easy to take apart. It's easy to work with. So it was a pain to get dialed in at first, but following some simple instructions from a gentleman by the name of Scurvy on YouTube, that really helped me out with that. So I do have, the tank would normally look like this right now, which is probably a little bit too blue for the camera. So within Apex Fusion, I just go over and I have a view outlet set up, and I turn it on and the light changes. So that it just makes it a little bit more appealing to view it. It feels like a Friday. I'm off tomorrow and go back on Monday, so definitely feels like a Friday, which is not a bad thing because tomorrow's really Friday. So that's exciting. And then if the par meter is really where it says it's at, it'll be here tomorrow. Must be nice. Well, I'm not gonna complain, Chad. Frying fish tomorrow. Send me some. Am I sick? I don't know if it's allergies or what, but the pollen here is really bad right now. Luckily, you know, I'm probably one of the few that are saying this right now, but it's been raining and that rain will really help out. So it comes and goes. And my throat will hurt a little bit and the eyes will start watering. So it's just that time of year. But that's fine. In a couple of weeks, I'll be staring at the ocean. Yeah, I was laughing, Chad. I had a conference call at work this afternoon, and some of the folks that were on there were in Colorado, and I told them, I said, my black vehicle, you could run it through a car wash, and then an hour later, it'd be covered in pollen. And they don't have to worry about that there. Of course, they have to worry about blizzards in the middle of April, so I'm not jealous of that whatsoever. Mustard seed. It's terrible. Now, you know, this time of year, you want to have your windows open, feel the fresh air, and you can't because you'll pay for it dearly afterwards. So, you know, the kids want to go outside and swing, and, you know, it is what it is. Nothing a hot shower won't fix. Chad, since you're probably the only one that can relate to this, I saw where Whitland is having like some Easter egg deal going on at their shop this weekend. I won't be able to make it, but it sounded pretty fun. Yeah, I got Maker's Mark, so. What is your pH run? I have no clue, Travis. I am running the Apex Classic. My pH probe quit working, I don't know, a long time ago. I mean, there's a graph for it there in the middle. It says 4.59, which is absolutely wrong because I don't even have a pH probe plugged in. And I just really too cheap to buy a probe at this point. So, you know, I looked at the double junction probes today, and then by the time you bought that and calibration solution, it's like $85, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it alone. But historically, when that probe did work, my pH was like in the high 7s, low 8s, somewhere around there. And my skimmer does not pull air from outside. That comment's come up a couple times, and my wife's pretty lenient about a lot of things, but I'm almost positive that if I drill a hole through the wall, that ain't gonna fly. And on top of that, where I live, I mean, I can go outside and spread my arms out, and I can touch my neighbor's house, and the neighbor that's on that side of the tank takes very good care of her grass. Her grass looks like a golf course, and mine looks like the desert. So there's no telling what she's spraying over there or putting down, and that was kind of the other driving factor is I really don't want to put a hole in the wall and some airline and have her go through there and fertilize her yard, and all of a sudden my tank's dead and I'm trying to figure it out, and then 5 days later I'm like, oh yeah, because I'm drawing air from outside and somebody probably sprayed something. So yeah, I haven't used a pH test kit in probably since my freshwater days. Probably the good old API test kit. Yeah, whatever people spray on grass, I don't know. We don't do it on ours because our grass doesn't reflect that at all. We probably got the worst yard in the cul-de-sac, but that's fine. Matter of fact, everybody mowed their grass yesterday. We didn't. Everybody was preparing for the rain to come. So whatever it is that people spray or put on their yard, I don't even know. I don't like mowing that much. Yes, it does filter out chloramines. I buy all the SpectraPure stuff for it, and it's really good stuff. The only real complaint that I have is they charge outrageous prices for shipping. So, you know, it is what it is. I needed a new pressure gauge anyway. The pressure gauge that I have went bad, and I do run a booster pump, so I really need that pressure gauge to work so that I'm not going over 80 PSI, and I have it set at like 78, but it hasn't worked the last 2 times I ran it. So I got a pressure gauge, all new filters, a membrane, and some of the water hardness kits, test kits to come. So they should be here like Saturday. Again, I just want to make sure I'm using the right flow restrictor. I mean, and I do make 80 gallons of water at a time. I go through about a gallon a day of RODI water in the top off. And then I do, it depends, but you know, I do minimal 5-gallon water change a week. If I think about it and can heat up the water fast enough, I'll do about 8 or 9 gallons. I do 1 a week. What is up, Billy Pipes? Billy, I thought about you yesterday because we had a communication meeting at work, and I looked over and there was a girl sitting there drinking a Yoo-hoo, and I just started shaking my head. I'm like, it's so nasty. And obviously the first person I thought about was Billy Pipes, and I said, no way this is happening right now. I was sitting, actually I stood up behind everybody the whole time, and I pulled my phone out because there wasn't anybody behind me, and I was like, I'm about to take a picture of this and send it to you, but I didn't because there was like 50 other people in there, and heck, I probably would have tried to take the picture and flash would have come on, or you know, something like that. So I just left it alone and thought about you and tried to forget about it. Forever ingrained in my brain because of that yellow can. Yeah, Chad, I've tried the once a month water changes, but it seems like I just like to get on a schedule and just get it knocked out. So I am about out of the RedSea Blue Bucket salt. And I looked at the Brightwell salt, and you gotta mix that stuff for like 24 hours, and who has time for that? So I might get some Blue Box Fritz. So the Blue Box Fritz should be right at my parameters. But the only reason I don't like instant ocean is because um, the alk is like 12. I mean, everything in it's elevated. So, and I know a lot of people use it and have success with it, but I like to keep some salt here that is right around my parameters. Um, that way, if I ever, I mean, I keep a minimum of 40 gallons of water. And if I ever have to do a big water change, I can, and it's not going to change much of anything. You got a batch that's mixing at 10. Yeah, I always thought that it was like 12, but 10's not too far-fetched. But if I did a large water change to 10, then that would raise my alkalinity 2 points. So Lisa, you could just be the Fritz supplier of Canada. Lisa's RPM Aquatics. See how that goes? I see pictures of your tank, Chad, with them new lights you got. Stepped away from the, what were they, the black boxes to the Hydro 26 HDs. Is that correct? 3 of them? Went to the world of Wi-Fi controllability. Four of them. Oh yeah, you got it's a 6-foot tank, I forgot. It's the long tank. Sticks growing like weeds. Well, maybe one day I can get some of those weeds from you and I can grow them. But I'm about to get the power dialed in, that's for sure. That's the next thing. So luckily I've met very wonderful people that let me borrow par meters. Otherwise, I was going to have to rent it from Bulk Reef Supply and pay the $500 and then get the deposit back. Which par meter do you have, Chad? The one I'm getting, somebody would probably have to correct me because there's a couple people that have used it, but it's the, I can't remember if Murphy's got the 510 or what. The Apogee 510. So I've used it once before, but I used it when I had the Kessels on the tank. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad them Kessels are gone. Oh, I thought you were talking about par meters. A small colony. I don't know, I feel pretty terrible about killing a colony. A360X. I watched Mile High Reefer's review on those. He's got 3 of them over his 210. They look like nice lights, no doubt about that. What's this colony you speak of? If it's a bird's nest, then I've never, ever, ever had good luck with a bird's nest. Matter of fact, the one thing that I do need to work on is, since I don't have any more bubble algae in the tank, I need to get the 2 emerald crabs out of the tank because I did have some frags that were mounted and had started to encrust, and the emerald crabs came through picking, and broke them off, and it was too late whenever I noticed it. Yeah, you know, the very first tank I set up had the Kessel A160 on it, and then I set up like a temporary all-in-one 20-gallon tank, and I put the Kessel on it. Then whenever I set up this tank, I put 2 Kessel 160s on it, and then I eventually put the Aquatic Life T5 hybrid fixture over here with 3 Kessel 160s. And to be honest with you, well, let me backtrack a little bit. Then I took the hybrid fixture off just because I didn't like how bulky it was, and I just ran the Kessels. And after seeing the Kessels with the T5s, you can't go wrong with that. The Kessels with the T5s are perfect in my opinion. I just did not like the bulkiness of the fixture. So the other thing was the shimmer. You still got the shimmer with the T5s, and then whenever I took the T5s off, the Kessel shimmer was almost a little much, you know, to be honest with you. So a Miyagi Tort, I actually have a Miyagi Tort right there, and it's encrusted. It's still got color, but it looks like it's struggling, and it's probably because my phosphates went from like 0.04 to 0.36. But Chad, I mean, I'm definitely interested in. I'll buy, you know, some tester pieces from you. Heck, if you want to cut them up, I'll supply the bone cutters and the super glue if you want to let them heal in your tank first and then get them. You know, I won't ask for anything for free. I'll pay for it. And really the most aggravating thing to me is the fact that I have a green slimer there, and I've always wanted a green slimer. It's like the ultimate coral that I want is a green slimer. I don't know why. I think I just like how it just branches up, you know, and just grows up. And it took a dump whenever my phosphates got high. I mean, it's all but nearly gone, and it had just started to encrust on the rock. So that was probably the most aggravating part to me, because I mean, I like a lot of corals, but the green slimer was the one, and it's the one that I've tried multiple times, and you know. Red Planet, speaking of that, there's a gentleman on here on Instagram by Sabella Fella, and he works with Pieces of the Ocean, and I've been talking to him as well, and he said the next time I place an order with Pieces of the Ocean, which I've placed a couple orders with them, he would throw in an encrusting Red Planet. So it's like 8 inches wide and 3 or 4 inches tall. Maybe I need to go to Chad school. Is that like a university? Don't start with the Trump stuff, all right? I don't want to get political in here. I shouldn't have even went there. But you're doing something right, and you're local to me, so I need a mentor. And I listen. I don't have a problem with listening and learning. So I feel like I'm a pretty good student. I tried urchins. They knocked all my corals off even though they were glued. Took them back now. They don't know what to do. I think Tidal Gardens just put out a video of like a 10-foot tank down in Texas, and that's all that guy uses is urchins, but you could see like it had like stuff all over it. Honestly, Chad, I've left the tank alone. I mean, I do the water changes, and I try to clean the skimmer cup out on a regular basis just to keep it clean. But that's it. I mean, I don't have any, I don't have, you know, any microalgae or any, no, nothing. Matter of fact, I went to the fish doctor 2 weekends ago, and I bought a yellow chorus wrasse and I put it in the tank. As soon as I put it in the tank, the 2 clowns that I had demolished it. I mean, it was crazy. So I got the clowns out, took the clowns to the fish doctor, gave them to them, traded them in. So I bought the yellow tang, another yellow chorus wrasse, and the flame hawk fish. So I wanted to add some bio-load. How much do I feed? I feed pretty heavy. I mean, I feed a frozen cube every day, and I have an automatic feeder in my sump that feeds pellets twice a day. Matter of fact, Murphy comes in with a super chat of $8.54, which he's gonna get back because he refused to let me pay shipping for the par meter down to me. So thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate it. I lost my whole train of thought. Oh, Murphy bought some of the Reef Nutrition pellets, and I was looking at that on Instagram, and not on Instagram, on Bulk Reef Supply. I'm not gonna get the 4-pound bag, but I'm gonna get the 1-pound bag pretty soon. So I actually just realized that the fish doctor has LRS Reef Frenzy, so that's what I've been feeding, because I've been going to PetSmart and buying frozen food from them until I realized that they had the Reef Frenzy, so I've been feeding it like crazy. Yeah, Tina, the store that I'm referring to that's local to me, they do order fish, but their primary thing is, you know, setting up tanks at customers, either businesses or whatever, and maintaining them. So and whenever they order fish, you got to be quick, because people get in there and they'll get everything. But I've had good luck with their fish, so. Reef Frenzy caused some of your issues. Yeah, I actually took that brick, well, the block that it come in, and I took a rubber mallet and smashed it into little pieces. So I'm giving probably like a dime size. So not very much, but you know, I started using that TDL Reef Nutrition whenever I got them corals in from Budman's, and whenever I saw that you got that 4-pound bag, said sign me up. Chad's not even testing his water. It seems like once you're stocked with corals, you know, you can kind of just watch them and see how happy they are. What do I use to export the food? Nothing. I mean, I'm doing 5 to 8 to 9 gallon water changes once a week, and using a skimmer. But this tank is notorious for having 0 nutrients. I mean, I've constantly battled, and I've dosed nitrates and I've dosed phosphates, and I don't really like doing that because it's very hard to control. So, I mean, this tank is just notorious. I mean, last week I ran a low range nitrate test kit, and it came back at 4, and it was really dark. So I thought to myself, well, maybe it's over 4. So I ran the high range nitrate test kit. Came back clear. So I know I'm right at 4. Now the phosphates, on the other hand, I mean, it's all on me. Basically, I fed a lot of reefroids without measuring reefroids, and way too often. So, what's up, Calypsos? What's up, Spike? What's going on? So the reef tank woe is the story of my life. Reefroids, for me, it's just notorious for raising phosphates. Pretty much with reefroids, you'll know if you overfed them in a day or two whenever your glass is dirty. If it's not typically dirty to begin with. You know, if your glass is dirty every 2 to 3 days, then you got nutrients in your tank anyway. But if it's not, and you feed reefroids and it's dirty, then you know you went overboard with it. yeah, the the phosphate spike definitely did not help out my situation. Stability is definitely the key. This story will have a happy ending. You know what, Murphy? I haven't given up yet. I mean, I've had this tank running for about 2.5 years, and combined, you know, I'd say I have 3 years, we'll just say 3 years of experience. So I've lost more battles than I could count, but I still have this dang glass box with water in it. Although there's been many times where I thought to myself that I was going to drain it and just get rid of it. But it's still here. And it's a lot of fun, you know, and quite honestly, I don't know this where the tank is at would look, the tank's been here for so long now that it would look so strange and so dark without it being there. My phosphate last week was 0.36. I tested it twice. The first test came back with the Hannah phosphorus checker at 119. The second test came back at 111. The reason why I did a second test is because 119 was way off from my previous phosphate test, which was probably a couple weeks before that. So that's why I did the second one, and whenever it came back at 111, I knew, and you know, there's a plus or minus there. I don't know what it is, if it's 4 or 5 or 6, but I knew that it was right. Fish load looks to be heavy. Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I've seen tanks this size that have 14 or more fish in it, and I have the 2 Roagramas, the yellow wrasse, the pintail wrasse, the coral beauty, the other tang, the flame hawk, and there's a zebra darkfish in there. It's 8 fish. So this tank's been running for about 2.5 years. Now, the other thing to mention is I did pull all the pond matrix out of my sump. I had a pretty significant amount of pond matrix, but I was smart about it whenever I pulled it out. What's up, Gabe? I pulled out, you know, a handful at a time over the course of many, many weeks in order to not shock the system. So I don't always do everything right, but you know, I try to. And on pulling the pond matrix out, I think was a smart move on my part. Less fish, less nutrients for coral, in my opinion. I don't know, I kind of look at it with more fish than more nutrition. You know, everybody always says fish poop for the corals, so. I use Nopox to keep phosphates in check. They run 0.04. I have Nopox. I haven't run it in a very long time. Matter of fact, it's probably bad, and I have Rollophos, but since it's spiked so quickly, I really don't want to do anything drastic to it to bring it down quickly, like super, super quick. And the only thing I don't like about Nopox is it's, I mean, it's been like 2 years since I've run Nopox, but you're gonna get a bacteria bloom. So if I could get the Royal Grammas out of the tank, I would. If I could get the zebra darkfish out of the tank, I would. But that zebra darkfish is, the only way it's coming out of the tank is if it jumps, and it's not gonna jump because I have a lid on here. And the Royal Grammas are, they're fast. I'm not gonna catch them. The clowns were super easy to catch for some reason. 2 nets in the tank, and I caught both of them pretty quickly, so. 18 fish in a 56 tall. I mean, you're gonna find out, I guess. The fish trap. Yeah, I started with 3 of the Royal Grammas, and I don't know what happened to the third one. They may have got picked on, but the other two get along pretty good. Trying to talk the fiance to get a bigger tank. Some folks like bigger tanks. This is 3 foot by, I think 20 front to back by 21 tall, if I'm not mistaken. It's a perfect size for me. I don't need anything bigger. At one point I thought to myself that I'd like to have, you know, either a 120 or even a 125. I know you don't get the front to back depth with it, or, you know, 180, but nah. I'm good where I'm at. $11-foot custom. Whew. I just don't see it for me. I like seeing other big tanks, so can't wait to see it. What light you have on the tank? I have 2 of the Gen 4 XR15s Radions. Yeah, 11 foot's a serious tank. So, all right, folks, I've been streaming for it's been 52 minutes already. I'm gonna kind of get everything situated before the family gets home. And the time really flies by. It's 7:30 here, so before too long it'll be bedtime, but I'm gonna hop off here. I'm gonna enjoy a little Maker's Mark for a little bit. Just relax for a little bit. Hopefully the family comes home. Oh, no problem, Murphy. I'm glad you stopped by. I'll close this out with saying, if you're not on Instagram, you should be. Murphy's on Instagram. Davis, he was on in the chat earlier. He's on Instagram. I don't know. You can find me on Instagram at Pelfrey's Reef. It takes like a minute to set it up. The only thing that's on my Instagram at Pelfrey's Reef is reef tank stuff, and that's all I'll follow on that channel. So it's I like looking at people's stuff. It really motivates me, and whenever I see a nice tank packed full of corals, that's really the driving factor that really keeps me into it, because I look at these tanks that are beautiful, and I know that one day I'm going to be there, and I'm going to keep working towards that goal. So anyway, I do appreciate everyone stopping by. Do I like the Radions real quick? I have them, but seem too many things you can change. I like the Radions. I kind of set it and forget it. So I do have a par meter. It's going to be here tomorrow, courtesy of Murphy's Aquatics. And if I need to change something on the schedule, then I will. But for the most part, I've not changed anything on the lights for a long time. So what's up, exclusive? Unfortunately, I'm going to cancel or stop the live stream here. I do appreciate you stopping in, though. And I will say hello to you. So until next time, folks, hope you have a good night. And if you're off tomorrow, have a safe weekend. Happy Easter to everyone. Easter's coming up. So be thankful for something. Hopefully you see your family. If not, try to reach out to them, tell them you love them anyway.